Yes, beards are cool, but you know what's not cool? Little animals taking up residence around your chin. You might dig face fuzz, but there are some freaky downsides to rocking a beard. We all have to grapple with aging at some point, and a lot of people equate having a beard with looking more mature. A 2012 study published in Behavioral Ecology asked both men and women to guess the age of subjects who were photographed with and without facial hair. Both the male and female participants judged subjects with facial hair to look older, even between photos of the same person. Some folks like looking like they're beyond their years, while other people prefer a more baby-faced look. Basically, you decide whether looking older is a pro or a con. And if you want to keep the facial hair but tone down its aging effect, you can always try tweaking the color or style. Beards that are long, grain, or unkempt may give your face an even older feel, so consider dyeing, trimming, or reshaping your scruff as needed. They say you should never judge a book by its cover, but as humans, we can't help but jump to certain conclusions when we see each other. Facial hair is no exception. In fact, your beard is sort of magical, secretly sending signals, like a sense of aggression and competition, to the people around you. This impression may not be accurate. You could be the nicest, most marshmallowy person in your neighborhood. But science reveals that facial hair might drive onlookers to find you more threatening. On top of its age findings, a behavioral ecology study discovered that beardedness appears to signal elevated social status, dominance, and the communication of aggressive intent. A 2016 study on evolution and human behavior goes a step further, hypothesizing that this perception is influenced mainly by how a beard enhances certain male features like the shape and size of a man's lower face and jaw, communicating more masculinity and aggression. Even if you try to downplay the effect with friendly smiles, a 2022 study in Scientific Reports suggests that facial hair could make it harder for people to detect your happy expressions. But this can be an advantage too, at least if you're trying to project a dominant go-getter demeanor in your career or social life. You can definitely go too far in the other direction though, so just be thoughtful about it. Not only measuring whether to grow a beard at all, but also how much beard you want to bring to the table.
Did you just come out of a coma?
No.
Were you attacked by a werewolf?
No.
Whether you agree with social norms or not, there are things you shouldn't wear to work or a job interview. But did you know that beards have historically been problematic in some workplaces? Centuries ago, beards were a common sight in many cultures, but they eventually fell out of vogue for the hard-working, trustworthy professional. Think about the clean-shaven businessmen of the 1950s, with their crisp suits and bare chins. It was only in the 60s that facial hair began to bounce back, but it was associated with the freewheeling hippie movement, hardly what employers at the time would view as reliable hires. Plus, tons of military branches, law enforcement agencies, and other groups even banned full beards. It was only in 2024 that the British Army finally lifted its beard ban, undoing a precedent that lasted more than 300 years. The idea that beards are somehow unprofessional hasn't been limited to written rules either. There are many examples of a silent beard bias in action. For instance, prior to J.D. Vance, it has been 8 decades since a U.S. presidential or vice presidential candidate wore facial hair. Yep, whiskers remain a rare sight in many political arenas. A negative idea has seemingly permeated into the unspoken guidelines of public office, that a beard is damaging to electability. Granted, this anti-beard stigma is slowly shifting in modern workplaces. In employee handbooks, facial hair often falls under the vague corporate areas of grooming or hygiene, so depending on where you work, rocking a beard could be possible as long as you keep it well maintained. As for what constitutes well maintained, well, you'll have to take that up with your HR department. Lots of people tossing around the idea of growing a beard are curious about how it'll change their image. But your look isn't the only thing affected by a beard. All that extra body hair could also play a role in your health by harboring a whole buttload of gross microorganisms. One 1967 study in applied microbiology compared how beards exposed to contagious pathogens retained germs compared to bare skin. Results suggested that bare skin was easier to clean, with washed facial hair retaining more germs than washed skin. Another small study in European radiology, this one from 2018, even suggests that human beards carry more bacteria than the fur of a dog. While all of this sounds pretty gnarly, those facts don't have to be absolute deal breakers for the beard curious. It's important to acknowledge that a certain amount of beard bacteria is normal, and in an everyday setting, basic upkeep is enough to keep facial hair safe and hygienic, and being fresh-faced doesn't necessarily equate to cleanliness. Not only did a study in the medical journal Medicine find that beard hair actually doesn't enhance the general threat of bacterial colonization, but shaven participants were actually more prone to some pathogens. In short, how well you clean and care for your face is more crucial to hygiene than what you're growing on it.
Let's go nice and easy. No, wait. Lice and easy.
Good one.
Even if your facial hair probably isn't housing any more bacteria than the next clean-shaven guy, It turns out that beards can still contribute to some annoying and sometimes awkward health problems. For one, beards can trap oil, dead skin cells, and otherwise harmless bacteria close to the skin, contributing to acne breakouts. In the same vein, facial hair can experience a buildup of common Malassezia yeast, resulting in beard dandruff. Beards also aren't immune to problems that usually plague hair elsewhere on your body. For instance, a fact sheet from the Glasgow branch of the UK's National Health Service reveals that it's totally possible to suffer from a beard-based lice infestation, like you would on your head. We'll just let that sink in. Lice on your face. We will say that beard lice seems to be a pretty rare occurrence, if the pros at lice doctors are to be believed. But it's up to you whether the risk, and all of the other health and image problems we've listed, is worth it. Worst comes to worst, you can always give your beard a chance and then shave it all off if it's not working for you.